Welcome, friends, to the animation experience at Conservation Station. Since the 1930s, Disney animators have put their pencils to paper in service of the idea that the greatest inspiration often comes from the magic of nature. Walt Disney himself understood the importance of spending time around animals, studying their behavior and personalities in order to create realistic characters and dynamic storylines. This meeting of the human and animal worlds sparked a legacy of storytelling that has shaped our relationship with animals and conservation forever. Today, we invite you to become a part of that legacy as our own Disney artists help you learn to sketch characters inspired by the very animals found here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Get your pencils ready, because here comes our animation artist now.
How's everybody doing today? Is everybody having fun? Oh, great to see everybody. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Heather. We're going to be drawing a snake today for the Jungle Book. Woo! Yay! I know snakes, right? I'm feeling you, because I'm kind of the same way. And I worked here, and I kind of learned a little more about them. I'm still growing with them, too. But sometime today, if you want to walk around, we do have some snakes kind of on the other side of that wall. So definitely check them out. If you came out through Lightning Lane, we do have a snake that you pass by. Her name is Esmeralda. She's really pretty and adorable. So before we get started, we're going to get paper and pencil, right? Yeah, clipboards were found at your seat, crayons, colors. If you're missing any of those, raise your hand really high. We'll be sure to get you whatever you're missing. If you don't mind, at the end of the class, placing those boards back in the back of the seat so they'll be ready for our next classes coming in behind us. We appreciate that very much. When we exit today, we're going to be exiting out to the left-hand side of the theater. You're going to follow the lovely wall of animals through the animal tunnel that will safely get you out. Restrooms. Oh, we got a demonstration. Restrooms are just right around the corner from that. Alright, so I'm going to hopefully kind of get you inspired first and see how we feel maybe after this video. I'm bringing them to you virtually, so don't worry. You're standing. We're going to go ahead and take a look at our inspiration.
I'm Taylor. I'm Michelle. And we care about snakes. Yeah, we get it. Some people just don't quite see it.
But snakes are amazing. Maybe you can't see it yet.
How do you spot the amazing in a snake? Well, you have to take a close look at our shy little friends. Much closer.
This little guy is Houdini, a Kenyan sand boa. When I say boa, you normally think of very large snakes, but as you can see, they come in all different sizes. At 21 years old, he's as big as he's going to get. If you look closely at his face, he has a little shovel nose to help him dig. He's very good at disappearing, spending most of his time burrowed under the sand and dirt. Poof, he's gone.
This is Noodle, a Florida pine snake, and she is full of personality. She may look tough, but snakes can get scared too. If threatened, Noodle plays a copycat by coiling and hissing loudly. You may believe she's even one of her venomous relatives. But don't worry, she's just bluffing. You might be surprised, but most snakes try hard to avoid people.
Remember, no matter the snake, if you spot one in the wild, it's best to admire them from afar.
If you want a closer look, Rafiki's Planet Watch provides an excellent viewing opportunity. You might even meet Curry, a Burmese python. Curry is very laid back. Seeing her up close is fantastic.
Then there's this youngster, and at only 3 years old, Halo is a reticulated python who will continue to grow. Their ability to learn and adapt enables snakes to be key beneficial predators for their ecosystems, keeping rodent populations to a healthy size.
Houdini, Noodle, Curry, and Halo. Unique, colorful, and curious.
No more hiding it. Now you can see snakes for what they really are. Amazing.
They are pretty cool, right? Don't worry, I'm still in the same boat, still warming up myself. So we got a nice little shape on there. So that shape that looks kind of like this. There's another guideline that's kind of at the bottom. I'll focus on that a little bit later. But if you raise your hand if you're missing these actually guidelines. So we're going to go ahead and start with his eyes at first. We're going to draw the Frank Thomas version number 2, and there's actually worked on Ka himself. And we're going to go ahead and add in those eyes at first. So I'm going to start just to the left of that vertical guideline. And I'm going to go ahead and draw an oval. So it's much smaller than what we've already have on our paper. And you can just kind of sketch it out very light till you feel it's right. And you can see I kind of have a bunch of little messy lines to kind of choose from in just a little bit. So I'm going to pull it down. And I'm actually going a little bit slower on mine. I do find it a little easier when we draw in ovals by drawing it with your shoulder. So if you act like you're stirring something, it just makes it a little bit easier. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one off really quick. Not like you're a chef in the kitchen. And I love your style out there. I think it's a good word. You're doing great. I hear you. So now you're fine. Let them do what they're doing. And then we're going to go ahead and come over on the right side of that circle. And then we're going to go ahead and pull this down. So I'm just going to very lightly just kind of sketch it out. It's a sketch class, right? I'm going to pull it down, hit that guideline, and again, just kind of slow my oval down just a little bit for you. And then I'm just going to pull it right back up to the top. So I'm going to make this little egg shape there, and then we're going to detail it up. I think of the word for a minute. So we got those great big eyes that Ka has, and then we're going to do an eyelid. So I'm going to start with the left side first. I'm going to go ahead and make this part dark. So I'm going to curve up and around. So it kind of looks like a little rainbow curve. And again, this one I'm actually just going to go over that line several times just to kind of really thicken up. Give them some guyliner there. And then we're just going to now see the difference between my dark lines and my light lines. So again, wait till you feel you're ready, and then you can just darken in the rest of your eye there at the left eye anyway. Snakes can see and have dichromatic vision, seeing shades of green and blue. I always like to remember the scene in the Jungle Book where Ka's got green and blue in his eyes that kind of look like little circles in the middle, kind of that entrancing look that he's got, because Ka is very good at hypnosis and mind control, so kind of a neat old thing to kind of think about. And then we're going to go ahead and just go up above the eyelid. That's kind of where his eyelash will start. It's just going to slide down or slither down into that little corner of his eye. So I'm just kind of doing this nice little rainbow curve there. Yeah. And it's going to make that a little bit darker as I come across that line. It's kind of get that nice smooth and thickness too. I want to get a little more eyeliner right there. So I'll call it right there on the inside. And then I'm just going to go back in and just trace over the rest of his little eyeball on the bottom, and of course the eyelid too at the top, because why not give him some eyelids? And another feature we'll come to in just a minute, because we want to be able to have our characters emote a little more. And we can feel everything that Ka's feeling. So now his pupils, just a little bit to the left of our vertical guideline, he's got these little tiny little ovals there. Like a little dot almost. And then what we're going to do from there, we're going to go ahead and add in the other little oval there too as well. Put that in. Just going to shade that in just a little tiny bit. Normal, I'll have his eyes kind of scooted over on the right side, but it's a little different. Now we're going to go ahead and add in his nose. Now his nose is going to kind of come out underneath his eye. So I'm going to pull this down and over, just underneath that horizontal line. So it's just going to stop roughly about there. And then what you're going to do, you're going to look at where the horizontal line and the side of the circle meets. I'm going to come down into the shape. And I'm also going to use kind of the end of this little line. So I'm going to come over and make a little mark. So you can kind of use your finger there. And that's kind of about, I'm just eyeballing it there too as well. And then what we're going to do is going to bring, that's kind of where the top of my nostril is. So I'm going to bring this down and over. And I'm going to slide this down. And it's going to follow this curve right beside it. So I'm going to come pull this in, kind of get this little groove, little divot kind of in the middle. That's where that little tongue will kind of stick out. So their mouth, and when the mouth's closed, the tongue will kind of slither out a little bit. And that will just kind of give you where that little dent is in his skin. And then what I want to do, because I want to I don't want to have that brightened look, because, I want to have a little bit of a smile. So I'm going to pull this up and into that vertical guideline right there. And it makes kind of like a little triangle right there in that little area. And you're going to stop there. And then your dimple actually goes all the way up to where the horizontal line and the side of that circle is. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead and curve this in. You're going to come down a little bit. Bring it around. And it's going to come all the way up until it meets that tip. It's kind of a nice little snake-like kind of pattern. And those S curves there. So now I like to kind of, again, just end it with that smile so he doesn't look so frightened, kind of. And then we're going to go around the outside of his head. And it's right in this little triangle kind of shape. I'm going to draw in kind of like a, just the upside down L for his cheek there that he's going to have. And then we're going to go ahead and come up into the circle just a little bit. And again, we want him to emote, so we're adding a human characteristic on there. We're going to go ahead and pull this around and bring it right back into that vertical guideline to the top of that circle. And then you're going to take back over, making this big letter M for Mowgli. So I don't go any further than the top of that line right there. So I'm just going to pull it right back down and into the side of that circle. And then we're just going to slide it in, or slither in. And then we're going to bring it, once it gets about even with this line over here on the right side, that's where it's going to slide over and into the end of that line. This is going to kind of pull out for his cheek. And then you're just going to pull it down and hit the side of that circle. So it just kind of flows naturally into the circle there. And it's going to slide right into the bottom of the circle, into where the bottom of the circle and the vertical guideline is. Oh, it's going to go a little further than that, and that's where that small blue line is going to be. So what we're going to do from there, we're going to go ahead and bring this down into the bottom blue line there. We'll make that letter J, kind of swing it up, or a soup ladle. They talked about soup earlier, right? And then we're going to go ahead and pull this up into that, where that little groove, the little divot is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and make a little mark right there. So you know from here to there, I'm going to pull it right back up, pull it right back in. And I just sketch it out first too, and then I just go back in, and I kind of tidy it up if I need to. And then it looks a little funny without the mouth rest of his mouth open, pretty much. And again, what we're going to do for that, we're just going to kind of almost follow this curve that we did. A little bit more space over on the right side and the left side as a character's turn. You're going to see less of it the further away it is. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in a little curve, just right where the biggest groove, just a little bit past that vertical guideline. I'm going to pull it down. And then I'm going to pull this a little bit past that vertical guideline into the bottom of that circle there. And then we're going to bring this down and then over again. So you kind of have this little J shape there, again, or a soup ladle. And then it gets a little bit closer on this side and then just kind of pulls it right into a little divot there. That's kind of neat. So we're going back to the 60s here, and if you got a lot of sketchy lines like I do on my paper, you're doing great because the 60s and 70s they had this Xerox kind of process of animation. Get the word out there, and you can still see all those beautiful lines in the actual film itself. You don't see it like where it was cleaned up, right? It just went straight from Xerox straight to the painting in the film. So 101 Dalmatians, Robin Hood, Aristocats too, and all those great films too. Are great films to kind of look at. And I did mention too, the mouth's closed is when the tongue usually sticks out. That's usually if a scent is really intriguing, like, that's an interesting smell, or whatever, they'll stick up in their tongue. But you know what? The mouth's open, we gotta add it anyway, right? It makes it a little more fun just to add a tongue in there. I don't know why I like to think of a wishbone for some reason. Just more fun. Get the little forked tongue there. And just kind of add in that little tongue in there, so we at least get it in on ours. And then I'm gonna go back to this little dot that I made in the middle. Remember, it was the one that was the horizontal line inside of the circle, and kind of even with the end of that line. And that's just going to be a nice little oval there too. So I'm just going to go ahead and sketch that in. Where his nostrils are. And this is a really, really tiny oval, like a Tic Tac size almost. And then right here on this side, I'm just going to go ahead and add in kind of like half of the oval, or a full. I like to do the full oval, but you could do part of one. And of course, they'll actually just go ahead and throw that into. So the scents will be inhaled through their nostrils, but if the scent's like really strong or something like, oh, that's a cool smell. The tongue will kind of stick out in the smell. Tongue almost. Kind of cool. Oh, and we gotta do a little bit of a color separation. So his counter shade is a little darker on top, a little lighter on the bottom, as most animals are. So it's a camouflage, so kind of keep them protected. I'm gonna start with an arrow. I mentioned Robin Hood earlier, so that's my favorite film. And then we're gonna bring this down. Just make that look like a square right there at the top. And that just kind of made it a little more choppy, but you can round it off if you want. And I'm just going to add in a T on the inside of that. Keep it a simple capital letter T in there. Obviously a curved line. And then we're going to go ahead and add in that counter shaded line too. So it's normally, a lot of characters may not be shown too dark, to show the ink and paint artist. Maybe for this one, because it was done in the 60s, you will see that line. But a lot of like other characters. 90s or whatever. And we're going to bring this down up into that vertical and horizontal line right underneath the eyes. And I'm going to go directly underneath the right eye. Maybe he's got little under eye bags in there too. It takes a lot out of him to see the Mowgli, I don't know. He sings that wonderful Trust song too. And that's where we see Shere Khan perking up his little ears, like, okay, what's going on? So that's the kind of the villain in the movie. So I'm just kind of curling this around again, kind of making a few little extra lines, and then little lines, channeling our inner 60s, 70s animation. I'm going to draw another little curve underneath the left eye. Give him a little under eye bag. Right there. Curve there. Just right down to the eye, or up to the eye. And then, of course, we got some scales to add in there. So what we can do on that, we just kind of start with that nostril. That's a good place to start. Now I'm going to curve mine back. So this is a nice fun place to start there. And then it's going to keep curving back up into the dimple. So I'm going to give it kind of a little bit of separation between each one. If you just want to have fun with yours and you're like, hey, I feel like I need a scale in between them, I don't know, you can just have a little fun. It just kind of gives a little bit of some dimension in there. And then I'm going to have one hop over the Y, so I'm going to start on the other side and just have it hop over to the right hand side of it. Oh my. And then it's going to kind of curve it down, give it a little scale. And we're going to kind of almost look some tracing too as well, okay? That hypnosis thing that he's about in the movie. Keep it with the character, of course. The other guy that actually kind of worked on Cod was Milk Hall, another one of the 9 old men. I'm actually going to bring this light up to the right. And then over here, I'm going to go ahead and start right underneath that, about that second scale. And just kind of do a little tiny bottom lip there. So what we're going to do, we're going to kind of continue back up. And then what we're going to do is just do a few going just right before that vertical guideline. And then what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and add in another one. Just kind of come back up. And then we'll just do the same thing. Now this movie and Aristocats were the last 2 films that Walt Disney approved himself. And Ka is actually an Indian rock python. They're usually native to like Nepal and Pakistan, India. We'll go ahead and add it all. Well, these are really cool, you know. All kinds of there's ovaries out there. And you could probably name a few snakes yourself if you want. We saw some in the video there. It's just pretty cool. We'll add one more because I think he needs another one somewhere right in this area too. And you can play around with it however you want to. And sometimes it's got a few around that little dimple. Let's go draw a couple through on that side. Yay! Alright, so now once we get that in there, we can go ahead and come down to his body, of course. This is the fun part right here. And we can see where the blue line is at the bottom. That's where his little body is going to come down to, on the right side anyway. And that usually starts just a little bit past that vertical guideline. And we'll start it roughly about there, so it kind of looks like it grooves right into his head. And then the inside of it, or it's the other side of it, but inside this line right here, kind of touches right about where that little scale is. So that's kind of where it just kind of comes right in there. And we're going to do a color separation on ours. But the right side, I'm just going to tape that one first. Just do one at a time. I always tell everybody, have patience with the art too as well. It's okay to kind of make some lines that you don't like. I have lines in there that I don't like a line too. I'm going to bring it over that blue line. I'm going to go a little bit past it. I'm going to go ahead and pull it all the way back up. So I'm going to make it this a big letter U, almost a little U-turn right back up. And again, with that nice long line, you can just kind of, I like to use my shoulder. I like to be really just kind of loose with my lines. I love just putting energy in the drawings too. And then kids have fun, because I've seen a lot of really cool drawings that kids have done. They put like a little tree branch, and then they wrap the snake body around the tree branch. And that's really cool. I'm not going to do it on mine. I'm going to keep mine just simple like this. But if that's something you want to do, just to experiment, feel free to do that and show your own art style. And then again, this character is animated by two different animators. Halfway, we'll pull this down, or pull it over. And then we're gonna go just a little bit skinnier as we come right a little bit closer. And it's gonna come right back up, making that U-turn again, a little bit wider on the side. As it come right back up. But they have elongated organs. And they actually, pythons actually have 2 lungs. Most snakes only have 1 lung. But one is much smaller than the other, too. So they have 2 lungs. Not like us. But I just kind of make it nice and wide there. And sometimes maybe it's a little extra width on yours, so maybe he just ate it. And I don't know. As it slides down. So, like that again, just kind of keep with those sketchy lines in there as I kind of go through it. I'll kind of quickly go through mine here. But I'm going to go ahead and add in that counter shaded line again on this side. So I'm going to start with this next scale, and it's going to kind of come close to this line. Do this however you want to, but again, it's come a little closer to the bottom line as I go around. It's nice and loose there. We'll make it messy here as I come on around. And I'm just going to get a little closer to this line. Just keep that same distance as I come on up. That's where the scales are going to be. There on this side. Very messy. Not perfect at all. And then we'll just go in there. Tidy it up really quick. How are we doing out there? Doing good? We got a lot done on already. It's so hard to get out. And then we can go ahead and add in scales on the right side. This is kind of fun. You can do this part and just kind of do a little curve. If we go up to kind of his body and add in a few. I'm going to separate them a little bit more on this side. I'm just going to go ahead and just place them in there. Little smiley faces turn into rainbow curves there. I like to kind of curve mine a little bit so it kind of looks a little more 3-dimensional too. And then he's got, snakes have all kinds of patterns. His are kind of more kind of rectangular kind of patterns. So one next to his head is kind of a little less space. So you have these little rectangles. And then we're going to go ahead and come over on this side. Just make sure that, snakes, I know they make good cuts. I don't know. Some of you might to get a snake. Just make sure you do your research first and know what they need to, and know maybe even your allergies to it. So just things to be able to take care of them, have a budget for them, and all that good stuff. Sometimes snakes need like warm sunny spots to go to too. So temperature variations are a big thing. Humidity is a factor too as well. So just do your research first before you decide. There's some snakes that do not make good pets, so you need to know those snakes too as well. Be able to properly take good care of them and everything like that. And it's going to go up and make that a little wider as it go up. And then this one I'm just going to leave it not finished at the end. And then just shade in really quick right there inside our little squares here. Rectangles. If you want to shade that, you don't have to. I'm just doing a very, very, very quick little shading there. It's not perfect by any means. That's not what we're aiming for. Just aiming for fun. And then I got to do a little bit of shading right there in the back of his mouth too. I think we got call order paper. What you think? I think I got call. You got call? Yeah. So we got to autograph our artwork. Because guess what? We did this together as a team, and that's what is pretty amazing about art too. And I always encourage people to go to like a gallery or something. Just look at all kinds of beautiful images on the wall, and it may be the same character, or different character, and some of them are abstract and everything like that. So if you take your drawings home with you, you put them up on the wall, so it's really cool to see like yours compared to mom's or dad's or whoever you came with drawings, which is pretty cool. It is the 18th of October, 2022. A couple days after little tiny company started on October 16th. The Disney Studios started, so pretty amazing. That was 99 years ago. Next year's the big year. Walt Disney's over there, it's all on board, just like all of you. And I mentioned Frank Thomas already. He's the one in the window with the dog. And Ollie Johnson wrote The Illusion of Life together. If you're interested in animation, check it out. And of course, Retta Scott. Everybody want to try to make these real quick? But I do kind of like to mention our female animators. I think it's amazing of what they accomplished over time. And I just love to be kind of an advocate for those female animators. And their stories are really incredible. So definitely check it out. But thank you so much for your time. These all look beautiful. We got some wonderful snakes, maybe some that are just kind of circling around a branch or something. I don't know what you got out there. But have fun with your art. Have patience with yourself too, as well, with your art. I know I have to do that myself too, as well. So, and then the only thing we need back is the boards. If you don't mind placing those back in the back of the seat. The pencils, if you don't want them, we do have a basket. Can recycle that for you in the basket, and just have a wonderful day at your Bye, everybody. Have a good one. Nice job.
Thank you all for joining us in the animation experience at Conservation Station. Please gather your personal belongings before exiting, and remember to take your artwork with you. We hope you enjoy the rest of your visit at Rafiki's Planet World and the rest of your adventure here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. Goodbye.